Welcome to Slimdown class, everybody. This is week 2 of 12 in our rotation of classes. And I want to just make sure everybody understands what we're doing before I jump into our class. Whole Soul Intuitive LLC is a weight loss company, and we specialize in when to eat habits and with specific focus on transformation, starting with the beliefs that keep people turning to food to create a hiding effect. And this puts on layers. We have layers of beliefs that get in our way, and we address all of those beliefs in a really specialized way. And we have several specialized pillars and coaches within our Real and Slim system designed to target specific emotional reasons that people do turn to food as a solution to try to feel better. So if you're new and you've never seen this before and you haven't had a discovery session with one of either myself or one of my coaches, please visit realandslim.com to schedule an appointment with a specialized coach. And let's just jump in. Last week we covered part 1 of 2 of when to eat. So we covered watching for your hunger signals, eat only when you're hungry, watch for the comfortably satisfied feeling. And we call this the sigh. It's not an actual sigh. It's not just when you go, I like this food. That's not the sigh that we're looking for. We're looking for this physical, the hunger just subsided and went away, and then satisfied feeling. So it's more like a physical sigh feeling. It's more of a from your stomach sigh. So that's what we covered last week. So if you want to go look at that, you can find that on YouTube, and you can find it on my Facebook page. This week, we're looking at part 2 of when to eat. So when we eat, our body can only use what it needs to balance the blood sugar. And every bite after that goes away as stores of fat. And I don't want you to beat up on yourself if you're eating one bite too much because you're trying to figure out that sigh feeling. Just be patient with yourself and make sure you're exercising. But it takes about 20 minutes for your body to send that done signal to your brain. So that done signal is what we call that sigh. And it feels like I said, a very comfortably satisfied physical sigh. Oh, cozy, I feel better feeling. Again, you shouldn't feel hungry anymore after you feel that sigh feeling. So give yourself 20 minutes to eat. I want to talk about vermin beliefs at the beginning here. A lot of things come up for us when we are looking at changing our eating habits. Most of us have something that has developed. Actually, I could say across the board, all of us have had something develop when we weren't looking. And I want to tell this story just to illustrate my point here. This is something that happened to me when I think I was 15 years old, 15 or 16. I was a nanny, and I was homeschooled, so I was able to do my school and then go over and be a nanny for the rest of the day, and I loved it. And the people that I was the nanny for had just had 2 babies back to back and just moved into this new place, and they moved all of their stuff into this 1 bedroom and used it as their storage room. And they were busy having babies and taking care of, moving in and settling into a new place, and they didn't realize that before they moved in there was a mouse problem. So by the time we got settled in with the new baby and time had gone by, we started noticing that there were mice out in the living area, and it was getting pretty bad. So we decided to address it, and the traps weren't working. It seemed like there were a lot of mice. And so we finally looked at that storage room, and when we went in there, it was just absolutely, everything was ruined by these mice. I think there were a few hundred mice, including all the babies that we had to get rid of. It was really, really gross. And so this all developed without us even realizing it. But it was a problem, and it was ruining all their stuff, and it was getting into the food, and we had babies in the house. It really was a problem. It was really affecting our lives, and we had to do something about it. So we dug in to clean up that storage room and clean up all those mice, and they were jumping out of the boxes at us, and they were really aggressive. They had babies. They were being really aggressive. And there were so many of them. I think they thought that they had us. It was so gross. And I was like, I got into my warrior and I wasn't going to let anything stop me. So I went and I'm like, okay, I need to figure out a way to get as many of these mice killed as possible as fast as I can. And so I went and got a broom and thought, well, in the cartoons, they use a broom. But the broom didn't kill the mice. I think it just hurt them and then they scurried away. And I didn't want to just hurt them. I wanted them to be like quickly done away with so that I was being humane. I cared about that. And I wanted to take care of the problem quickly. So what I did was I found in the room, there was a cast iron frying pan. And I was literally batting these mice out of the air. Oh, so bad. I was batting them out of the air with this frying pan. And I was hitting, I was like totally adrenaline freak out mode with this. And so I was hitting them as hard as I could because I wanted them to die quickly so that they wouldn't be in pain. But it was just one after another. We were going crazy over, well, I was going crazy over killing all of these mice. And we got that room cleaned up. I can't remember how long it took us, but we got that room cleaned up. And that, I think that really illustrates what happens with our vermin beliefs. Oh, that's weird. Does anybody see that? That blue mark on my slide? Well, that distracted me. Anyway, so this really illustrates what happens to us when we're not paying attention with our beliefs. And all of these things that I'm teaching you can serve as a catalyst to show you where you are in your belief system. So make sure you're looking at what's coming up for you as an excuse. Don't tout it like it's the truth. Look at it. If it's the thing that's keeping you from doing the thing that you know is good for you and getting the desired result that you are looking for, if it's getting in your way, then it's limiting you. If it's getting in your way, it's a vermin belief. It's ruining your stuff, okay? So pay attention to what comes up for you, and we're going to just call these vermin beliefs for the purpose of this video. And you know what? I don't know what's going on with this little mark on my video here, but let's see if I can clear it really quick. There we go. Okay. All right, so what comes up for you when I suggest the following effective tips? Now, I know these are effective because I've watched them work in the lives of myself and a lot of other women. And there are plenty of stories out there where, scientific proof that this is how the human body functions normally. Now, if you have something, I want to address this really quick. This is coming to my mind. If you have something going on with your system, like if you're diabetic or if you've had your gallbladder taken out and that's affecting your body, or if you've had, some part of your body, your internal organs removed and your body functions a little differently. I had somebody let me know that they weren't feeling hungry, that they were feeling like when they thought of food, they just weren't feeling good, so they weren't eating all the time. And I invite you to remember, in last week's video, we talked about starvation mode, and I want to help you remember. Oh, actually, no, we didn't. I talked about that in one of my Facebook Lives, so let's talk about that right now. If you don't eat, your body will go into starvation mode, and it will put on fat. It's the protection that the body has. It's built in to help you not starve, so that if you're hungry, there's a store of fat to use the next time you're hungry. So if your hunger signal is not your stomach growling, if your hunger signal is completely different because your body functions differently because you've had some kind of surgery that removed a part of your body, then make sure you're paying attention to what your hunger signal looks like. I think that's really, really important to remember. Your hunger signal might not look like my hunger signal, but your body will send you one because it needs food. It needs fuel, and that's just the bottom line. That's the way it is. So find your own hunger feeling and your own body's normal signal. I have two. The ones that I have found are, one, my stomach will growl, and the other one, my stomach won't growl, and I won't feel like I'm hungry at all, but I feel really grouchy and kind of like sick and frustrated. And that, yeah, so that's how I deal with that. I had somebody just make a comment here. What is that signal?
The Venus signal.
What does
Men
that
are
mean?
From Mars, women are from Venus. That they talk about to men when their wives get grouchy, feed them.
Oh. So yeah, if you feel really grouchy and you kind of feel like it's a physical discomfort, like total in your skin grouchiness feeling, it feels hormonal. That is one of my hunger signals, and when I eat, I feel better. So, and it's a hunger signal. So watch for your own hunger signals. Okay, if you have something to say, again, just go ahead and put it in the chat box. I will look at the chat box in a minute and we can discuss what you have to say. Okay, tell me what comes up for you when I give you these tips. Go ahead and type it in the chat box. When I say notice the hunger signals and eat slowly over 20 minutes and stop with the sigh, do any of those things bring up an excuse why you can't? Go ahead and type those in the chat box.
Say that question again.
Okay, here's the question one more time. If I give you this tip to notice the hunger signals and eat slowly over 20 minutes and then stop with the sigh, what excuses for why you can't or why you don't want to comes up for you? It could be as simple as, I'm not doing it just because you said so. Well, I happen to know and have experience that this works. So if you want to have, try it out, but go ahead and just type in there what it is that comes up for you when I say those things, the reasons why you think you can't, why for you, you're isolated and you're different and you can't because this is a limiting belief. It's a vermin belief. Tip number 2, go ahead and type the answer to this in the comments, in the chat box. Choose specific priorities. How does eating one more bite beyond the sigh serve you? What comes up for you when I say this? How does it serve you? What's your excuse that's getting in your way of going, yeah, you're right? Okay, it turns into stores of fat. It does that for everybody. It's the way our bodies work. Do you love your body enough to stop at the sigh? What comes up for you when I say that? Are you honest enough with yourself to pay attention to your body's signals and eat when you're hungry? And know when you're hungry. Okay, tip number 3. Write down the excuses that come up for you. Be specific. So like when you're eating and you have something come up for you, pay attention to it. Don't just bury it and pretend it wasn't there. Don't be like, oh, I don't want to deal with that right now. Write it down so that you can deal with it in a quiet moment. How do you feel about eating this way? There are a lot of things that come up. This is a huge catalyst, even though it's really simple. This is a really great way to dig up junk so that you can deal with it. So how do you feel about eating this way? Is there some scarcity going on? Are those feelings serving you? Do you want to thank those feelings for teaching you and choose feelings that serve you in a positive way? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and look at the chat box here. Okay. So I've got Teresa. She says, my granddaughter eats 90 miles an hour and is on seconds and thirds before I finish my first. I live in a family of 9. So that's a reason why you think you can't eat slowly and get enough. For that, I would just recommend that you put enough on your plate the first time that you may have some left over that you need to scrape back into the pot or something like that. So maybe think of doing something like that to serve yourself in that situation. I've got Angela that says, eating slowly doesn't work for me, but I have adjusted my eating to the hunger and the sigh anyway. Okay, so the excuse is eating slowly doesn't work for you? I would address if that's really true, because I think that's a time scarcity thing. So take a look at that. I've got Christine. She says, when I overeat, I feel miserable, and when I've had enough, it feels comfortable. Okay, good. So you're noticing that you're more comfortable when you follow the tips. That's perfect. So establishing those good habits is giving you some results. I'm glad. Okay, so let's see here. Here's your assignment for the week. Practice these things this week and then come back next week for more support. So you're going to practice writing down the things that come up for you. If this is your first Slimdown class, go back and look at last week's class. It's on YouTube or on my Facebook page, which is Whole Soul Intuitive Real and Slim. You can go find them there, or you can find them on the Mrs. Dreamseed YouTube channel. I will post links when I post this video on Facebook. I will post links so that you can find that. Let's see. Got to think, make sure I don't forget anything. So what comes up for you when you think of applying these tips? Let's go ahead and do a little guided belief work based on what was said to me in the chat box a moment ago. So, okay, let's do this, this time scarcity. I invite you all to get grounded. Just put your feet flat on the floor and allow yourself to get clear. Let's move the excuse out of the way and just thank it. Bring it out so it's not hurting your heart or any other part of your body. And just thank it for showing up to teach you, to help you get stronger and turn it into a strength. Most of us are really busy. And so this time scarcity belief comes up for a lot of people. And this is how I'm going to help you process today. Just take a deep breath and connect to your source. And look at the amount of time that you have, and everybody has the same amount of time every day. And we all have things to do. So you're certainly not isolated. You're not alone. And look at yesterday and the day before and the number of times that you felt hungry. It may have been 3 or 4 times, maybe 5 sometimes. And if you were to take 20 minutes to eat those 3 or 4 times, that's broken up over the course of the day, you allow yourself to take care of you for an hour broken up. And consider what you can be doing while you're eating. Can you be reading something you need to read? Can you be writing something you need to write? Talking to somebody you need to talk to even? There are a lot of things that we can be working on while we're eating. I do. And I'm sitting while I eat most of the time. It's completely fine. And I'm able to take care of my body and take care of me, take that time for me, and then move on to the next thing. And it didn't make me late. And it didn't make it so I didn't get something done. Because there's enough time in the day for me to take care of myself. So I submit that that's the new perfect belief. And there may be something else connected to that for you. But I have, in my experience and in my research, when we allow our bodies to have 20 minutes to eat, and we may need to take, we may take a few more bites after that because maybe the hunger isn't gone yet. But if we allow ourselves just enough food for what's, what our 2 palms can hold in our hands, that's usually enough food for most people, most meals. Depends on what you're eating. So the new belief is you have time to take care of you. I have time to take care of me. And I still get all my other things done. And you can word that however feels best for you, however feels the most freeing to get rid of that scarcity belief. And I invite you to, if you have any, okay, I have Angela saying that feels good, but it feels really foreign. It's a totally different idea. And most of these things that I'm teaching are going to feel foreign anyway. So if you believe that you can take care of you, if you believe you're worth it, and you accept you, and you're putting on that oxygen mask first so that you can take care of everybody else, you're going to feel a lot better. So it's okay to do things that feel a little foreign. Do you feel like that? Angela, I invite you to go ahead and type in the chat. Do you feel like there's anything missing? Any connected beliefs that just addressing those would serve you? Maybe put that out there because there might be somebody else who's feeling the same way. And while she's typing, I'm going to let you know next week. Well, guess what? I don't have my notes in front of me, so I don't remember exactly what we're covering next week. But I do, well, you know what? We'll cover exercise. If you are trying to slim down, then eating only when you're hungry will keep you from putting more weight on. Okay, she says, if I slow down, I won't get it all done. Not sure what it is, but it's important for me to get it done. Oh, I see. So there's a belief that if you slow down and take care of yourself, you're going to fail somewhere in your life. Is that resonating? Okay, so she feels like somewhere she's going to drop the ball if she slows down to take care of herself. Okay, I invite you to just take a look at that belief this week and just, write down all the connected things. Is it true? Is it the truth for real? I mean, yes, you're going to be able to find lots of proof that it's been true for you, but I submit that, and I invite you to examine whether or not it really is true when you really tune into your intuition, if it's something you want to remain true for you. And I invite you to go ahead and we'll report on this next week. I really think that this will serve a lot of people because this is a very common belief, especially in our society where we're running all the time. We feel like we're not allowed to stop and focus where it needs to be focused. So next week we'll readdress that if that's all right, Angela. And then next week we'll talk about exercise. And I was saying, when we stop when we're satisfied, it helps us not put more weight on, but we still have to deal with the other layers. So we're going to deal with that in terms of the beliefs, because each little bit of fat is representing a belief that's getting in your way. So you may have specific beliefs about exercising, and I invite you to come up with a list of all the things that come to your mind whenever you think of getting out there and exercising, even if it's just, I don't want to. Well, why don't you want to? And go ahead and really examine those things really deeply and bring those, and I'll have you put them into the chat box when you get here next week for Slimdown class. Okay, awesome. Okay, so I'll see you next week at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, and feel free to invite a friend who needs support, and you can have them go to realandslim.info to sign up to get reminders. And if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, please pay it forward. Just like and share and comment with the vermin beliefs that came up for you today and what you're going to do about them to replace them, clean them out. I will talk to you next week. We'll see ya.